Welcome to the Deezy Show. We live at Studio ATL. This is the Deezy Show, and we live in the city of Atlanta, Georgia on this beautiful day. I have a special guest with me, Miss Traneice Porter. How you doing, Miss Porter?
Doing great. I'm doing great.
She coming all the way out of Middle Georgia, and we here today to elaborate on gun violence and the importance of gun violence and how to change things in the community and how have this impacted her and her family life and the good positivity she got out of this with her 320 stepper team as her dance team. So basically, Miss Porter, what brings you here today, and what's the area and the topics that you want to touch on today?
I want to talk about the gun violence, how it impacts our lives, everybody else's lives. It's hard. It's a challenge daily. To relive what happened to your loved ones, to actually have to watch pictures, watch old videos, try not to cry. It's just a lot, and if we could prevent a lot of these things from happening, a lot of these people will be better off. Somebody got to tell it. Somebody got to make a stand. So that's what I'm here for.
Right, and I appreciate you for reaching out to me and bringing some attention to what you've been going on, because I see that for the last couple of years you have been very active in campaigning with the news channels in Middle Georgia with events and stuff you've been throwing, and I think that the world needs to see more of this and hear more of this to help save people from making these bad decisions and things of that nature. So, how have gun violence personally affected you?
Personally, to have to get a phone call saying, "Hey, your brother has been shot," it's like, no, it's unreal. Like, the first thought that goes through your mind is he okay? Are they okay? Are they still living? How bad is it? And you don't want to get the realest part, which is they're not here anymore. My personal experience is being almost 4 months pregnant, having to live in a hospital almost 3 months with my brother. His name was Breon Porter, Thaddeus. My personal experience with that was, you know what, my mom can't do it alone. You got to move back home. I left everything here in Atlanta, my 2 storage home, 5 bedroom. I left it. I went back home to help my mom. It was very hard for her to leave her job over almost 20 years, to have to, tackle, lifting almost the 250 something pound body every day. And I just was not going to let her go through that alone. My dad is the actual breadwinner of the house. So obviously he couldn't stay home. He had to work. I moved like maybe 6, 7 minutes down the street from them. And under doctor's orders and being pregnant, I was not supposed to be doing none of the things that I was doing, but this was my brother. So nothing was going to stop me from helping him.
Right.
Um,
So your brother was a victim of gun violence, and apparently you had to help him out. He was
I
he
was more, my mom was more of his,
caretaker?
yes, over all of his paperwork.
Okay.
I was more of the medical knowledge person in the home. So it was more so, hey, mom, look, we need to do this. Hey, mom, we need to do that. He does not need to do this. Let's call this doctor. Let's try this therapy. He was turned down from lots of rehab centers, even, here, all around our surrounding counties. He was turned down from lots. So it was just kind of hard to sit there and tell him daily, it's going to be okay. You're going to move soon. You just got to trust the process. You'll get your movements back. But, we also knew that it was, a lie. We couldn't really be straightforward with him because people don't realize when you have a significant other who is dealing with they're paralyzed. They can't do anything. All they want to do is get up and walk again, or all they want to do is move again. But you have to tell them things like, you know, um, it's going to get better. You don't want to give them the realistic things of, you don't have a chance, because then they give up on themselves. And that was just not an option for me. So, I just gave it my all the way, doctor appointments, sick, didn't want to get out of the house, but for my brother, I did it all.
So that's good. So you was your brother was a victim of gun violence. He was committed to a chair, with paralyzed. What year was this in?
This happened back March 20th, 2016. And it all started from a basketball park where he decided to, intervene and break up a fight between four guys. And instead of, doing something so heroic, it turned opposite. And we just, he told his story, and, I'll tell it for every day I live, I'll tell it. He said that, if he had to relive this day over and over and over, he would do it all over again. Just knowing that he would get shot, or it would cause him to be without walking again, he would do it over. No matter what it was, he would do it over and over. So, for somebody to say such, some strong things like that, it's like, wow. If you knew you're going to get shot, why would you do it over? But you just don't know what people is thinking. So you just have to help them, guide them, and make sure you give them the best advice as possible, because it's all hard.
Upon receiving some information from you, it seemed that you had a local news crew to come do an event with you. How did you go about, what news did you have to come out to support your event? How did you go about doing that?
Well, first of all, it was more so, when crimes happen, of course someone gets notified. It just went from, it happening, they met us at the hospital, and it just went from there. So we never lost contact, basically. They wanted to follow our story for however long it took, regardless if he was, admitted or found somewhere to help him, get mobilization back with his limbs. But, they wanted to follow us, so I make sure I keep them up to date with everything. And just like you said, you just never know who's out there listening. So, there are lots of people now dealing with gun violence, and they're doing exactly what I'm doing. But people take things the wrong way, where it's, well, this happened to me, why am I not on TV? And then it's not so much about being on television. It's about, getting together, being able to share the same things, being able to give somebody else a shoulder to lean on if, for say, they, break down. They need somebody there. And that's basically what I think that this was made for me to do.
So if anybody out there watching right now, here in Atlanta, Georgia, and all over the world, what is some of your main objectives you want to achieve by promoting and standing against gun violence? Any lawmakers, any people involved in legislative, what would you like to achieve and see change with gun laws?
I personally think that in order to get this thing taken care of, you got to get to the right people. You got to do things like ceremonies. You got to do things like walks. You got to do things like talk shows. Some people actually are interested in those type of things. As far as the gun laws, we can't control most of them. We can always give our inputs, but we can't change that law. I mean, and it's just so much us as, citizens, we can only give an input. So, I would just say, if anybody is going through something and, they need to reach out to somebody, then never give up. You just never give up, because just the little things somebody else can take is something big. And this may be little to somebody else, but it's big to me. So.
And that's a good thing you're doing. And we're going to get into a small break right now. Once again, we live. We're at Studio ATL. We're here with Traneice Porter, and she's speaking on the importance of gun violence and how it need to stop, and how it affected her. And we will be back with more in just a minute. Hey, we live at Studio ATL. This is the Deezy Show, and we doing some true talk today. I have a special guest with me, Miss Traneice Porter, and she here to elaborate on gun violence, how have it impacted her life and her family life. Her brother was a victim of gun violence, and now she's here. She campaigning about gun violence and how to change the community and how to help people not make the same choices and bad decisions that would end up in terrible, terrible outcomes. How you doing, Miss Porter?
All right, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. So before the break, as we were speaking, you was elaborating on if you had the chance to reach someone that's in position right now, and what was your main objective in campaigning about gun violence? What would you like for it to change? What was your main goal and aim in speaking on this?
If I could, my main goal would be to get more involvement, to get more citizens involved, get the schools involved. Just like they say, train up a child. You want to start with them early. Kind of get into details. The kids need to know about guns. And it's something through the DARE program. If they got drug programs throughout the schools, I feel like they should have something about gun violence as well. It's a lot of the kids. It starts off with the kids.
Right.
The parents gotta sit down. They gotta talk to them more. They gotta find ways to get their kids involved in other things other than bad habits. And we can't be there to teach them the whole time. But we can do what we can. And then if we can get the schools more involved, get the communities more involved, I think it should start there.
Right. Okay. You spoke earlier about your mother was a caretaker of your brother, and you helped, and y'all helped as a whole. And I want to shout out to your mother and father too. And here at Studio Air, ATL, we want to give a big shout out to your mom and father. How was it like taking care of your brother, knowing he was, with his conditions? How was it like? You say you was pregnant. How was the weight laid on you, and knowing that he was trying to get better gradually over time? How did that affect you during that time? How did you stay motivated to be able to help him handle all his needs that he need to handle?
Well, once you're in the medical field or you're trying to pursue an education in the medical field, the main thing is to gain your trust with your patients. I didn't consider my brother a patient at that time. He was my brother. So my thing was to whisper the whole time in his ear, hey, you got this, you're fine. You can't feel, just a lot of swellness going on. You're just really sore. I never, not one time said, hey, you're paralyzed or you can't move again. His chances were very slim. So for me to be under so much stress and then doctor's orders, I could not just watch. I had to play a part. My part was I was the oldest. I'm the firstborn. I'm the one who has to step up when my parents are down. So at that time, ICU, people think of ICU and they think the worst. But for him, we were like, you know what? Y'all do what y'all got to do. Our God says differently. Do what you got to do. My thing is, hey, if you can go ahead and pull through this thing, hey, we can always keep fighting for other days. But you got to get through today. So as long as he kept kept his mindset of push through. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I'm going to do this. And as long as he could have those motivational words, we had a nice speaker, Miss Stephanie. She also went through the same type of situation my brother did, except she didn't get shot. She was in a tragic wreck. She had to, sit in the same kind of chairs, operate the same type of therapy utensils for her. And we got involved with her. Her main 3 words were never give up. So ever since that day, it was just, brother, you can't give up. We don't give up. Not in our family. We don't. So you just got to push through. And as long as I was there, he already knew I was coming with the positive words. There's a little small faith of a mustard seed. We kept that story the whole time. And it's just the strong things that you have to let them know to get through. Because if they don't have that person or someone to educate them through their hardships, they'll be lost.
Right.
Yeah, it
So
was very hard.
you did a lot of sacrificing with being
I
pregnant,
did.
with having kids,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing.
No sleep, no sleep. He would scream down the hall, shaky, shaky, shaky. I'm thirsty. Come, I need to blow my nose. Oh, being pregnant and trying to get sleep, and then it was just like, you know what? He's calling you. Get up. You know, you don't know what can happen through the night. You just got to go to the next room. And then it got weird. You know, once everything went the way it did, and I could sleep more, and I got rest. But then there came my parents.
Right.
You know, it's so quiet. What are they gonna do now?
So, Miss Shaky, what do you reside in? What state did this happen in? This incident? And what state do you campaign in? What area are you doing a lot of campaigning in, just in case somebody want to reach out to you?
Well, I currently live in Warner Robins, Georgia, right now. I campaign wherever I am. With this COVID thing now, it's kind of hard to get event centers now because of COVID rules.
Right.
But I campaign all over, all over. I don't just stay in one spot. Um, I have families coming out of Eastman, Cochran, Vienna, Unadilla, Cordele, Rochelle. You know, I've just met a few other families in Macon.
Right.
And the gun violence in Macon is just so horrible right now.
Right.
It's like somebody needs to step in Macon, Georgia. Somebody needs to, do this. Who is going to learn anything from this if nobody step up? So then there's where I step in.
Right. Okay. That's good. So, man, you in the middle Georgia, in the South Georgia area, and you have a lot of people supporting you and stuff.
I do.
That's what's up, man. And you mentioned to me earlier, you said you have a stepper team, a 320 stepper team where you have dancers, you have young girls dancing and doing steps and have a program.
I do.
So could you explain to me about 320 steppers team?
320 steppers for me, 320 itself stands for the actual day that my brother got shot, 2016. Yes. So that's where we get 320 from.
Okay, 320.
They ask what does stepper mean. I tell them, hey, he got shot on 320. 320 was the last day he took his last steps. So to combine those numbers and that word together, that's everything to me. So, like I told my brother, hey, I'm going to continue to doing these gun violence, whether you're here or not. He made me promise him that I would continue to do it. So, staying in the house, going through depression, postpartum, suicidal thoughts. It was hard just sitting in the house all the time for almost 4 years. And then I asked myself one day, how are you going to see about yourself? You're always seeing about everybody else. You got to figure out what it is that you need to do for you to make you happy. Well, I was a cheer coach for 2 years, and my daughter and the girls, they just love me so much. They told me, hey, we need to go keep doing something. Let's just not stop because football season is over. Let's continue going. So, both of my daughters, they dance all day long, and I was like, you know what? Let's do a dance team. Right. Doing this dance team for me has got me a place I never thought I would be. It's a job, but although God gave me 2 girls, I gained 26 more girls. Right. So, these young ladies, they keep me on my toes.
So you have a team of 26,
28 girls.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. They love me. I've never, ever in my life thought that you could receive so much love from other individuals.
So for the young girls that's in the dancing, if they interested in joining your program, how can they go about doing it?
They can find me on my website. Is actually still under construction. So I send a lot of people to my Facebook page. I have one personal one for myself, and then I also have a 320 Steppers page. They can always write me, message me, or email me. I have all of those details on my pages, so if they ever want to get through to me, it's there.
Okay, so with the girls dancing, it's like the steppers is like, what is the ultimate goal of them dancing? What's the destiny they trying to reach
Um,
with this movement?
I personally, there are lots of
Is it
goals that,
recreational?
yes,
Is it
it's recreational to me. So for me to categorize my girls, I would say it's recreational.
right?
You can turn something recreational into something traveling.
Right.
And so with me having the opportunity to travel with these young ladies, some of these young ladies don't even get to travel. Some of
Right.
them have never seen the next city over. With them stepping with this team now, it gives them all of the access to travel, see new things, meet new people, go places they
Right.
never ever been. Parents never been. So the parents are just excited to travel with the girls.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
just beautiful all the way
okay,
around.
that's nice. So as a mentor, as a mother, I heard you say that your own two daughters dance in this group. As a
Mhm.
mentor, as a mother, and as a woman that's campaigning and trying to do the right thing for your community, how can other mothers who's listening right now, how can they be more acceptable? What do you got to give the girls that can basically mold them to being, what kind of good advice and stuff that you can instill in them, and how do you go about instilling advice in them besides the dancing?
Well, first off, for me, education is a must. I open up my doorway. I personally don't let my kids play anything if they don't get an education first. We offer after school programs. So recreational wise, you can't go to a recreation center and say, "Hey, my child is struggling in class. Can you do something about it?" Well, that's
Right.
not what they do. But with 320, we allow these young ladies to come out, say, "Hey, I need some help."
Right.
We're don't worry about it, Mom. We got them. There's no
Mm-hmm.
reason none of my girls should be, failing. I need to make sure that my girls understand what respect means. A lot of them are very, very insecure. They have very low self esteem. My advice to them is you're beautiful. Don't never let anybody take you, for granted. Um, you are you. Love yourself first. No one else will love you more than yourself.
Right.
And in 320, because I always instilled it into my brother to never give up, we'll never give up on these ladies. Even if they're flunking, even if they're, they've gotten in situations they possibly cannot get out of.
Right.
We want to be able to talk to them so that they are prepared for everything. And
Right.
my main focus is prepare for the unexpected.
And I think that your brother will be very pleased with that, and dedication of 320 and the girls dancing. They got their little t-shirts on, 320 shirts. You need to get them some shirts, and I think that's a good thing. That's positive, and I think your brother will be real happy with that.
Yes, he will.
And we live at Studio ATL. We here with Traneice Porter, and she representing 320 Steppers team, and she campaigning against gun violence. We'll be back to you shortly. We live at Studio ATL. We at the Deezy Show, and I'm here with a special guest, Miss Traneice Porter. She here talking about gun violence, how it have impacted her and her family, how things in the community can change if we all come together, how she created a Steppers team in dedication of her brother. And we just here right now. She want people out there to listen to her story and come together and manifest something positive out of this. How you doing, Miss Traneice?
I'm doing great.
Okay, so as we been speaking since earlier, we know that your brother was a victim of gun violence. That apparently he had a condition upon to his passing away, and we sorry about that. And we send our condolences out to you, your mom, your family, his kids, and everyone else. However, on the contrary, we know that your brother was a victim, so it has to be an accuser in this situation. And here, I want to ask you right now, that is it anything you would like to say to the accuser in this situation? Is it anything you would like for them to know, or personally how you feel right now is your opportunity to say so?
Oh, it's kind of strong. Okay. If I could speak to the accuser, which I've tried to reach out to personally, if I could speak to him, I would just want to know, although I've buried everything about what happened, I kind of think a little bit more, way more mature than my thoughts themselves. If I could speak to him today, I would I would just want to know, what was he thinking? Like, my dad raised y'all. Y'all play ball together. So like, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind for you to think that it was okay to do that? Not even just one time, but 5 times. I would like to let him know that, it's not okay, but that I do understand behind those walls, you too need somebody. So I think on both sides, he needs to know that, that our family is hurt by such tragic. We are a forgiving family. We are a very forgiving family. Um, we don't hold grudges at all. A situation happened, we can't take it back. We got to, have our last 2 years with my brother. They were very hard, but he needs someone to speak to behind those sales, and I have forgiven him. So, regardless of what happened, if my brother said that he was fine with, reliving that day all over, knowing that he would do it, then I'm fine with it. I've came to terms where, if my brother is fine, then why should anybody else be upset about it? If he was okay about the outcome, should no one else be, angry about it? Everybody else should be just as, exceptional as my brother was. And that it's okay to reach out to the family. We're here, open arms. We serve a forgiving God, so he has been forgiven on my end. And I would like to let him know that.
That's a huge step. That's a blessing. God say forgive those and he'll forgive you. Amen.
Amen.
And we just like to thank you for coming through, Miss Porter. We like to thank you for all the information out that you brought to us. And also, would you like to give a special shout out to your family and anybody who else that support you and support your movement, your assistant, your whole thing that's going on with your business? And would you like to give a special shout out to some people?
I do. First of all, my family, my household, my mama and my dad, Miss Princess. I couldn't have got 320 started without Miss Princess. She's been everything to me since his business started. She knows how appreciated she is. My Aunt Virginia, she lost her son a month right before my brother died. You're not alone. We love you. We're here. We just got to take these days as they come and go, figure out how we're going to get through the next day, and, just forgive those who need to be forgiven. So,
So, I have another question for you. If you had the opportunity to tell a young woman or a young man or older woman from the pain you suffered and the pain your mother and your father suffered, rest in peace, your brother suffered, to anybody that's in a situation right now that's thinking about picking up a gun to retaliate when they can walk away, what would you tell them right now?
to stop, think, and listen.
Stop, think, and listen. We appreciate you for coming through, Ms. Porter. I represent 320. I like that team, and you need to bring them to the studio one day.
Okay,
And
cool.
it'll be a good look. And never know who in Atlanta someone can help sponsor y'all and put things together for y'all. And I thank you for coming by, and I send my deep condolences for your brother. And here at Studio ATL, we're here to support you and help you. Stop, look, and listen.
Stop, think, and listen.
Stop, think, and listen. We live at the Deezy Show.
And we're doing my gun violence ceremony this Saturday in Warner Robins, 830 North Houston Road. It starts at 12 o'clock to 2. Anybody who's lost someone to gun violence, they're welcome to come. We will honor your loved ones.
Okay, once again, how can they find you and a good contact number?
Traneice Porter, that's TRANEICE Porter at yahoo.com. Feel free to email me. My Facebook page is also Traneice Porter.